So we'll do a couple of quick introductions and then we're really going to get started and hit the ground running quickly today. So my name is Tim Davis. I'm based here with the Alti Australia team. So some of you might know me. I've also got our colleagues based locally and abroad with Altia. Some of the local members you might know, such as Aaron Jeffrey and Brandon Lizotte. We've got a special guest here this morning as well, Anthony Nguyen, who helped very much build Transcribe, works with customers globally. He is fantastic to throw any sort of complex question about the product to. So whilst I will be leading our presentation, overview and showcase of the product today, our lead developer, Anthony, will be jumping in towards the end to lead that Q&A. Okay, so just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started as well. This session is being recorded today, so if your colleagues were interested in this and you do want a copy of the recording, just get in touch and we'll send you that Vimeo link during in return. As well as that, in terms of Q&A, this demo presentation will take about 20 minutes a day, and Q&A can easily take about 10-15 minutes plus. So we'll try and split that in half with the presentation and Q&A. If you did want to bookmark a question, or if it was a longer question and you wanted to jot your thoughts down, very much feel free to use the chat functionality within Teams to mark that down. All right, before we get into the actual demo of Transcribe, we just put together a couple of visuals as a local team here. We do have some departments who are brand new to Transcribe and some who are taking a closer look after maybe having a look, a little while back. We do aim to cater for both parties today. So we are going through an end-to-end demonstration of the platform. At the same time, at the end of last year, there was heavy development from Altia on the product. So we will be really honing in on some of those 5 to 7 of those really key updates, really exciting updates as well. Just on that, Transcribe is being used globally by different law enforcement government departments. And we're seeing a couple of themes as to why departments are getting in touch and looking at something like Transcribe. Often there might be, thousands of scattered video and audio files in play. There might be a sense of disorganization around these audio files flowing through, who has access to these and how these are being stored in local databases. The other thing that is prominent is often costs. For those who are doing outsourcing of certain audio files, there often is a high cost involved. It can often take weeks to get these files returned. And with advances in technology, we are seeing a lot of departments getting more and more interested with this as well. And just on that outsourcing as well, there are more and more concerns in the modern landscape just around data leaving the organization. So there is that desire as well to keep all of that data in-house. And with Transcribe, we really are trying to address these challenges, keeping the data in-house. Transcribe is a cloud platform. All the data is locally stored here in Australia. We are partnered with Microsoft Azure. So you would have that single tenancy access to Transcribe, meaning only your department would have access to Transcribe for the living data there. In terms of the demo today, myself and the local team, we really wanted to stress test some of these updates with Transcribe. We know departments are looking at things like suspect interviews, witness interviews, for example, different types of audio being recorded in the studio, different phone calls, prison phone call might be one example. As well as that, it might be audio or video in the field that departments are looking to transcribe as well. So the team got together and using our phones and different audio sources, we actually did some recordings. We wanted to make that realistic and slightly lower quality than studio recording to really test out the accuracy and the output of the system. Just a note with that, there was a little bit of Hollywood acting from the local team on some of these audio recordings. So if you notice that when we get into the demo, Please keep that in mind. I can say we won't be applying to home and away in the near future with some of these performances, but it was a great chance and it was fantastic to see the high of the outputs from these audio recordings the team did here locally. So we're going to have a look at that. Then on the flip side of the demo, we are going to look at that searchable repository you will have, that brief of evidence outputted from all the transcriptions, and the instant results that you'll see very quickly in the system as to what we inputted into the system. All right, so now just jumping into the demo. So this is Transcribe here. The system is dead easy to use if you were onboarding your department to the system. You wouldn't need formal training or anything like that, or if you did, it would only last half an hour because you have a screen here, you have some basic functions, and you're going to be an expert and across this very quickly here. So whether you're an individual or a team, you're going to come into this home screen for Transcribe, and we'll go into this usage summary down the line in the demo, but at any time I can see my progress, what transcriptions are running, what's been completed, any errors, and how much my usage has been for the month. So today I mentioned we want to have a look at just uploading some files into the system. We did some mock phone calls, we did some Teams recordings, we did some other audio recordings on the run there. We tried to make this realistic in terms of what US departments would be looking at in terms of putting files into the system. So as I click on the upload function on the left-hand side, I'm taken into the upload screen here. With Transcribe, I can literally drag and drop any file and pop that into the system. You can actually drag and drop up to 20 files at a time. If you need to upload any batch files at a larger degree, you can get in touch and we can look at potentially increasing that. But if we have a look here at just some audio files we created, I'll just use some samples here. Let's just say we want to drop some of these in. So right here, I'm dropping in 4 files here. Today, we'll have a look at some other recordings, but I'm just dropping in some different MP3s, some MP4s. The great thing about Transcribe, it can literally ingest any audio or video file. So whether that's a niche WeChat or WhatsApp file or something on Teams, for example, it's going to have no problem ingesting that into the system as well. I can group my transcriptions if I want to give a overall description and note around this group, or I can individualize these here. So Transcribe has a number of fields, such as a description field here. I can put in a title with this here. And there are some really important checkboxes that you can apply here. One of these early ones is the spoken language. So whilst this system is going to transcribe this into text, any audio or video file, it also acts as a very powerful translation service. So as a default, it's going to look to transcribe this into English. But if you have other languages in play, you can select multiple languages here and you can choose any other language. So I could choose Mandarin or Cantonese, Chinese, for example. We do partner with Microsoft on this, so we have all of the global languages in the database here. And if you input it up to 3 languages, the system is going to scan for these languages. And as a default, it's going to give the raw output and also a translated version of the output as well. But if we're just looking at English, for example, and today we're looking at Australian English, you can put that in here as well. It also has New Zealand English as well, just accounting for some of the local slang and accents as well. It's all happening concurrently. So here I've got 4 files I'm uploading. I can literally hit upload down the bottom and ask to be updated via email. So that will all be running in the background. If you have a team, this can be shared with everyone in the team, or if it's just a private workflow you're doing, you can click private there for that visibility there. To help connect with your wider case management workflows, there's a lot of additional information and drop downs you can choose here. such as the recording type, the date, the location, for example, and other things as well. We can work together to make sure you have all the relevant fields to make sure you're capturing those data fields as you're ingesting the audio or video files. We also have some advanced settings which can become very important on certain transcriptions. As a default, we're aligned to Microsoft Azure data services. So this is the fast model here, which is great for most file types. So if you had a 1 hour recording, this is actually going to be now transcribed within about 2 to 5 minutes using the fast model here. It's often got a very high accuracy, so industry averages, and here at Altia we're seeing above 98% accuracy with these transcriptions. But you have a couple of other options as well. Maybe you had a lot of files you're uploading at once. You could use the batch model. This is just potentially going to give you a bit more even coverage across the load as well. We also have the option to look at OpenAI. They have their Whisper model, also very highly accurate, 98 to 99% consistent averages with their accuracy readings. We'll have a look at redaction in a moment, but with this option, you don't have redaction settings there. Anthony at the end is going to talk more about the potential use of AI. It's very important to note you can toggle this on or off with the system. But if you have this toggled on, you do have some important settings here that AI is going to be involved with, such as predicted confidence thresholds and the ability to give correction prompts. Now, a very prominent use case of this may be low quality audio inputs, where the AI could potentially assist you in correcting some of the sentences, bringing some of that hard to understand text together so it's just a bit more readable. So we'll have a look at that and the potential to use that there as well. So with these 4 audio and video files, I've done my inputs. I've had a look at some of these advanced settings, mark some of that case management drop-down stuff here. And as a next step, you can simply click upload and transcribe. Now we are uploading these 4 files here. So we can see the first step is uploading here, which is going to happen, in about 30 seconds to a minute. All of these files are going to upload. But as I mentioned, this is all happening concurrently and in the background. So I can simply leave the system here. I could close the browser and this transcription is still going to be happening. If I just refresh the page quite quickly, you're going to see that come up onto the screen. And I predict that to all take place within, a couple of minutes with the fast model there, that this is going to have an output and we can then click on those 4 files and you would be able to go into each of those files individually. Just for demo purposes, to keep this even snappier, we'll have a look at some of those that output results soon, but we did have some of those pre-prepared audio files I mentioned. We're just very recently we uploaded some different files here. So I have a recording we did on our phone here we'll take a look at, which is a mock-up of an on-site visit on our phone. Then we have a interview, which we did with a little bit higher quality on the computer there. And then we have a recording we did as a phone call here. So let's have a look at these 3 different recordings. We have pretended to be a police department here, and we are actually on the move with these recordings here. So as I click on the recording from the home screen, you are taken into this individual transcription screen here. So we're seeing a few things here. I'm just going to walk through these one by one. The first thing you'll see on the right-hand side is the original, I suppose, output of the transcription here. I can see the words spoken in text, and I can see the different speakers here. Transcribe can pick up to 15 different unique speakers, including if you do have background noise. Say if you were in the field with audio, it's going to pick up any of those unique speakers here. And just one example of this is it has picked up a unique speaker. It's going to mark those originally as speaker 1, speaker 2, for example. So speaker 2, what I can do here is I can add a new speaker. If you've already added that into the system, you'll see a drop-down box here where I'm going to call this speaker 2 Site Manager. And what the system is going to recognize is, okay, this speaker 2 has been identified 14 times throughout this transcriptions. And do you want to tag this person 14 times? So this is one update that has gotten highly accurate in the last few months. If you have multiple speakers, the feedback getting through from coming through from departments is this is now very good, very solid at identifying all of those speakers. So I identified the first speaker as Constable Reed, a police officer, and the second speaker as a site manager there. And that has been identified all the way through the transcription here. So the first thing we would often want to do is just check the quality of the audio or video against this transcription on the right-hand side here. So I'm just going to click play here. I hope you can hear the sound come through, and we want to follow along this bouncing ball on the right-hand side against the audio. 1642, attending Kwinana Industrial Storage, Lot 14, Stock Road, Unit 12. Hello? Anyone here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Afternoon, WA Police. You manage this place?
Yeah, this is Kwinana Industrial Storage. I manage this row.
Right. This unit, who's it leased to?
Oh, it's under D. Carter, Dan Carter, I think.
Looks like it's been cleared out recently.
Yeah, he came through on the 28th.
Maybe Brandon, give me a thumbs up if you can hear that. That was it. Yep, all good. So that sound should have been coming through. So we want to check that. So this audio recording was a mock-up recording. We were actually on the move with our phones, so phones coming in and out. So it wasn't super high quality, but if you do have the AI toggle turned on, you will get a confidence score on the right-hand side. So anything above 70% is considered, very solid. And you can see here that it is transcribing. I think it was around a 99% accuracy just with this recording here. So we can see that is getting, really good scores here. Just some things we noticed with the intricacies and accuracies of this. I looked at the Hi-Ace Toyota model, which was mentioned in the transcribe here. It's actually using the correct branding uppercase levels there for the word Hi-Ace. So just the modern use of transcription becomes very accurate with these small intricacies here. I think it also does a much better job of adding grammar and question marks. We can see commas, question marks there. It's not completely perfect. We can see one location in WA, Kwinana, actually starts with a KW. It actually picks up as a QUI here spelling. So we'll have a look at how we can update any phrases and how they can be captured in your changelog in a moment. But overall, for a phone recording, on the move, in and out quality, this does give a very high reading. So you can imagine a studio recording giving close to 100% results with this technology here. Another thing worth mentioning early days is, I suppose, the intelligence of the system. So the more you use this and the more it recognizes your voices, the more intelligent it becomes over time. And one of the ways you can help the system is just updating words. So if you were updating words, people's spelling and names, that type of thing in the system, that is only going to recognize that and become better for you moving forward. So let's just say Constable Reed, if in fact his spelling was R-E-A-D and not R-E-E-D, we could find that and replace all of those words in the transcription there. Once again, just a small intricacy, we did input that as Reed as a name, and it has picked up as the correct spelling there. Something I'm not sure the system would have done, 6 months or a year ago, or in transcription services in general as well. Okay, so just having a look at some of the other recordings here quickly. So this was a little bit higher quality. We did use our computers, so you can see higher readings on the right hand side. So good to see the uplift from things like phones to computers there. Still not studio recording, which a lot of departments would have those facilities, so you'd be expecting even higher results here. But once again, we're very happy with the output here. So I'm just going to click play just to show this again. Conducted on the 14th of March, 10:12 a.m. Present Senior Constable Reid, myself. Could you please state your full name for the record?
Yeah, Daniel Carter.
Thanks, Daniel. You understand this interview is being recorded.
Yep,
And you're here voluntarily today.
that's right.
Okay, another thing we saw was a little bit of background noise at the start. We're not seeing that come into the transcription, or affect that output, which is great as well. Another powerful feature is the summarization feature. If I click on this here, this is great if you had a 30-minute, 2-hour recording. It's just really going to summarize the essence of that conversation and in layman terms tell you exactly what happens. Once again, this is an AI feature, and you can toggle this off and not have this in play as well. One thing we are doing here is potentially using sensitive names, such as a suspect, in this case, Daniel Carter, and you might want to redact certain names, locations, for example. So I'm just going to have a look at that quickly here. So with the redaction tool, all you would need to do is click on that redact button there and highlight the name, and then that would be redacted throughout the transcription as from that. So if I was to do that, for example, I redacted Daniel Carter's name, and then I wanted to export a redacted version, this is exactly what it would look like. I'll just play this 10 seconds of audio with the name redacted.
I manage this row.
Right. This unit, who's it leased to?
Oh, it's under the thing.
Look, so we saw that name, Daniel Carter, bleeped out, which is, going to happen multiple times potentially throughout the conversation. So very handy there as well. It would be the same thing if you were running reports, which we'll get to in a moment. If you wanted to redact any certain names or locations, those would also be blacked out in the report as well. Just on locations as well, another potentially powerful feature we do have is the locations map. So we saw that Kwinana Industrial Storage Center was mentioned as a location. So if I click on the location, this is going to pick up any locations that are mentioned there in the transcription there. So we can see this is in Kwinana, which is fantastic. If you did have multiple transcriptions throughout the multiple locations, you could click on those on the right-hand side to pick those up there. All right. So coming through to the third file here, so we've had a look at 2 of these. This one was more of a recorded phone call. So we did this on our phones, just using a recording app. And once again, we got really high output, even though it was just using our personal phones there. So maybe I'll just play this very quickly again.
This is a call from Correctional Services Facility. This call may be recorded and monitored.
Yeah, hello?
Hey, you good?
Yeah, I'm all right. Same as usual. How's things out there?
Yeah, steady. Been a bit of a movement though.
Yeah.
That thing we talked about before, it's been packed up. Won't spare you some of that Hollywood acting a little bit further, and we'll just keep it at that for this one here. So once again, really high quality results there that are coming through. We have someone, Daniel Carter, that's been inputted as a unique speaker. So anything we want to search with Daniel Carter, this becomes a very powerful database, and we'll have a look at the searching functionality shortly as well. Now, I have made a couple of edits across these 3 audio files we ingested. I made about 5 edits. You can see 1 edit here. One thing I picked up was a mistake about 3/4 of the way down here. If I just replay this from the audio. My colleague Aaron is actually saying from who. Just as it was said quite quickly, the system has picked up the word removed there. So this is, I suppose, where, it still does take that human intervention to come and update these. We're not saying the technology completely replaces humans from this workflow, and we don't think it ever will, at least in the next 5 years from what we can see. So from this audio, I could come in and make these updates here, and I've said from the output removed, I'm going to change that to from who. Now that has been edited here. Every time we make an edit in the system, you're always going to have a audit log that you cannot change. So you always see the original output from the system against that audit log here. And if I wanted to see that audit log at any time, I can click on View Change Log, and I can see all of these updates made on the system here. I can see this across the entire system. I can generate reports against these here as well. Now, just on some of these reports, let's just have a look at some of the key reports you can export. In general, we are very hands-on and able to talk to you with the types of reports that you would need. So these are just 2 examples, and if you needed specific reporting needs, but for example, you can add your logos to all of these and customize them. So if I just click on export to PDF here, this is going to give me a general output of the entire transcription. So I can see the speakers there, the times, and the content. So pretty much like the screen before, you're seeing this on the page there. If I move down, I can see that change log there. So I can see speaker 1 was tagged to Constable Reed, always at the exact time and by whom in the system did this as well. If you had a bit of change going on in the system, that would be able to be recognized in this report here. So a great way of just getting that output and all of the changes that have been made as well. As well as that, there is a court export. So you might have your logo here, who the speakers were. This is a line by line, so it's mentioning 40 lines here of speaking text. So you can see that all in one page. The exact file that was used, so it was an MP4 file here. And with this specific court recording, the court is looking at specific words used. So we can see the alphabet A to Y in this case, and every single word that has been picked up. For example, Carter has been picked up at 1 minute 40 seconds there. So once again, very hands-on with the potential to meet your needs when it comes to these reports. There are a lot of other reports our customers are using the system. For example, in the UK, they have a MG15 report, which is specifically around any body cam footage that has been exported and those reporting requirements around that. All right, so that's the 3 mock-up recordings we're having a look at today. If anyone wants a full copy of these transcripts, just because we did these internally at Altair, we're more than happy to provide these, the output and the results and the original files as well, so you can take a closer look at any of these. But let's just take a little bit of a look at the other areas of the system, more of the repository and searching database. So if you're in a team, you could come in and set up your different files and folders here. I have Operation Swan set up, which is just these recordings I had a look at around that field recording, interview recording. You can create tags, and that can be a powerful way of marking these recordings to search against these as well. But you might want to have historical recordings or different operations you do have here, or categorizing those as the type of recording, such as witness interview recordings there. Coming back to the home screen there, I'm not sure if I uploaded those properly, but I was looking at my recordings. I can see some I was just doing before have been uploaded, but once again, I can always see my usage summary at the top here. The system very much is a consumption model. So for our customers who purchase Transcribe, they often will purchase something like 1,000 hours for 3 months or 6 months, or heavier usage clients might be using 20,000 hours a year, and you can always be tracking against this usage across the team up the top here. Coming up to the searching modal up the top, this is actually quite powerful because this advanced search functionality searches across all of your recordings in the system. So if you were just looking for one specific phrase, we often hear from departments that they're looking for that one little bit of critical information they might want to find. They don't want to have to listen to hours and hours of recording. You can just input that phrase into the search database and look for that. So Daniel Carter mentioned a number plate 4KX in one of his those recordings we just did. So I want to search for that to see if we can bring up that number plate. It's going to search all of the recordings very quickly, and it can see that has been found in 2 transcriptions at the top here. And if I want to find exactly where, it will take me to 1 minute 17 in the recording here with that as well. If I'm looking for someone's name, it's going to give powerful results as well. So I'm looking for Johnny here. Oh, wrong name. Let's have a look for Reed. Reed has come up 3 times in those different recordings here. So once again, the more data you have in there, the more powerful this type of searching database could become. So our customers using the platform really love this functionality as well as the output itself. All right, so just keeping things hopefully nice and tight, wanted to leave at least 10 minutes for Q&A. I'll help host the Q&A, but I'll invite Anthony, our lead developer, on for any deeper technical questions you might have. But I'm not sure, guys, if we have any questions in the chat, or if not, feel free for anyone to type out a question or to come off mute to ask a question to us. So I might ask yourself, Brandon, if we have any chat questions. I can't see the chat.
I know one question that's popped up before is when you're going through your search words, can you do multiple words, as in maybe create a list of words that maybe you're trying to investigate, and then send that through to all of the transcriptions, and then see if that word has popped up in between, and maybe a communication between 2 people?
Yeah, Anthony, feel free to jump in, but my understanding is currently it's just one specific phrase or capture source currently. It doesn't allow you to search for multiple, but Anthony, maybe.
Yes. So basically, what happened is we are using what's called the advanced AI search. So I think it can do the word read or, and then it can put in the next word in there. So it should bring up something. Can give it a try.
Learn something new every day. So it's good to have you on board these calls, Anthony.
Try without the or.
Let's have a look. There we go. So just by putting the word read and that number plate, we have 2 separate results that are found here. And Anthony, they can be completely separate. So 4KX can be found in one transcript, and the word read can be found in. That's right. That's important.
Yeah. So there is kind of like a special syntax that you can put in. Like, for example, I'm pretty sure that you can do, read and the 4X. That means they're going to bring back only the transcription that contains both of the words in there. But yeah, there's a little bit of syntax that you need to know.
Awesome. And Anthony, we often get a lot of questions about AI. I mentioned that you can toggle on and off the AI functionality. Some departments globally definitely want that off. Yeah, can you talk to us a little bit more about that and the potential of AI advancements in transcription the last while you've been working on this?
Yeah, so let me quickly share my screen, and then we can go through that very specific example of the applying the LLM to improving the transcription quality. So what happened is that when you upload at the beginning, you can specify either the threshold, and then there's a little bit of configuration that you can do. to help the engine to come up with a better kind of a transcriptions. So the confidence level, the by default is 0.7. So as you can see, when the transcription come back, for every single transcription that you can click on, let's say, oh, what happened there? Let me refresh. But you can see the confidence score for every single line of the phrases that's spoken by the customer. So for example, in here, if it is above that threshold, then the transcription is not being sent, that particular line is not being sent to the LLM. So we are using the private ChatGPT that is hosted by Azure. So it is dedicated to your environment. But if it is less than that threshold, then what happened is that we sending some of the spoken lines from that same speaker, and then some of the spoken lines after that line to AI, and then it will try to improve the quality by simply based on the context of what being spoken. So this is showing the the AI corrected versions. Now, if I want to see what was the original detected sentence by the the speech to text engine, then I can click on that. Now it's not much in terms of the differences, but in this case, the AI said why are we upcasing the the word let in here? It should be lowercase. So we're not changing the word for words. We're just trying to see if we can fix the grammar, the punctuations, and while still keeping the original meanings and the original context that's spoken by the user. And obviously you can turn it off either by system-wide, or you can do that per upload or per transcription as well.
Fantastic. Anthony, I'm just going to read you a question that's come through on the chat. You've been involved with different configurations globally with Transcribe. So question is the system able to input metadata associated with recordings? E.g. for a jail call, for example, can it pick up date, time, telephone numbers, noting that some additional configuration may be required in the first instance?
So at the moment, there is a fixed set of the metadata that you can upload together with the file. But once the recording, the transcription started, it actually pick up automatically some of the entities for that transcriptions. So for example, if I click on the body cam here, so it automatically pick up the names and the locations. I'm going to pick up another one. I think this is easier to see, like let's say this one. So all of these are automatically picked up as the metadata coming from the original transcription. Is that the questions, or is that a set of dynamic metadata together with the recording itself?
Yeah, Noreen, feel free to reply to your chat or come off audio if you wish, but hopefully that was a starting point at least to your query. Might come back to that one. We had another question come through, Anthony, just around APIs. A question we get a little bit: are there any APIs available to support integration into existing investigation processes or different systems, for example?
Yeah, so we have the whole anything we can do, I guess, on the UI at the moment. We do have a public set of APIs that we can integrate with. And the authentication is done through machine-to-machine integrations or via the standard OAuth procedure. So yeah, so you do have the ability to automate that part.
Now, Anthony, one more before perhaps Aaron will jump in to wrap up. But you've been working with this deployment globally with some law enforcement departments. A question I get often is what's been the feedback, the usage cases? Can you shed any light on that if you're able to?
Yeah, I think the most powerful thing that the law enforcement is looking for is the ability to very quickly reduce the time spent by human to come up to like 90% accurate, 98% accurate in terms of transcriptions, and the tracking of every single changes, because you want to produce this into the code. So the audit log is very powerful. The code export is very unique to us, and especially the reductions. Like in some case that you do want to produce an audio to code, but you want to protect the name of the person that is mentioned in that audio. So if you don't have Transcribe, then it's going to take you quite some time to actually produce that version of the audio as well. So I think that is what is quite unique in terms of the solution that we provide. Because if you just look at the transcription, there's a million, like we are transcribing our calls at the moment in Teams right now. But all that export, all that security and audio log is what I love about the product. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Anthony. I think we'll pass over to Aaron now, who's just going to wrap up around next steps and what you can do to get in touch, and even trial opportunities as well.
Beautiful. Thanks, Tim. Thanks, Anthony. Thanks for the presentation. Yeah, thanks everyone for coming along and having a look at the Transcribe product. If you do have any questions, anything that sort of comes up post the webinar, feel free to reach out to myself, Tim, or Brandon. If you just want further information on the product, again, just reach out to myself, Tim, and Brandon. And if there is we do run some, I suppose you'd call it a pilot. So we do 3-month low-cost pilots to get you up and running. And this is used to essentially just prove the concept that the transcription tool works. Obviously, you don't want to be, jumping into something for 12 months and it's not fit for purpose. So we do run these 3-month pilots to prove the concept. But yeah, no, thanks everyone for coming along. Again, any questions, just reach out. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Aaron. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Perfect. Thanks, team. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.